Okay, good. So hello everyone, this is Edna Keep here, and today I have with me one of my students, Rob Parkman. And Rob started with me, I think about 3 years ago, right Rob? It's about three?
Yeah, I started taking the course in December of 2016.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, time is going by, not quite 2.5 years. And I wanted to bring him on today because he's kind of taken things a little bit different direction than most of the students. And I just wanted him to share that with you. And so we'll get started. So Rob, tell us how you got started and what was your main interest in getting into real estate?
Yeah, well, it's an honor to talk with you today, Edna. And really, where we came from is from a nonprofit background where we're really engaged in help having an impact on people's lives. And but as I'm sure your listeners know, there's not a lot of revenue in that world, or even not a lot of passive revenue. So we started exploring what our options were, and through a mutual friend, we ended up reaching out to you and learning more about passive investments through real estate. And that was really important for us because we were looking for cash flow, we were looking for retirement income, we were looking to supplement what we were doing in our work with different ministries and charities that we're involved with.
Mhm.
And so that was really our initial kind of the fire that was in our bellies, was to kind of take care of some things for our family. And then as the more we learned and jumped into the course and started to really engage with potential investors, I would say that something that added to the fire was that we learned about that not all investments are created equal, that there's a lot of people that we know, friends and family, acquaintances, business associates that have capital available for investments, but they're not being served well. And so that was a big motivation for us, was to really give people better opportunities that gets their capital back in their pocket so that they can reinvest. So that's some of our motivation. And the course did help us with just really clarifying our why. Um, so that's been really helpful for us.
And in the meantime, you've actually partnered with some of the other students and purchased some properties. Tell us a little bit about how that went for you.
Yeah. So within the group, I would say so far we've done three different deals. Um, the One of them was a deal with yourself on a project in Alberta, and
Mhm.
then we partnered on two other ones with students in the group, 124 unit and 112 unit. And what I noticed was, as I was working on the course content and implementing what we were learning, that very often I'd be putting down offers on multifamily deals or commercial properties just on my own. And in the first several months, maybe close to, it was between 6 and 12 months, we weren't able to close, and there was various challenges that come. And I was okay with that in a sense, because I'd heard initially that 1 in 10 commercial deals actually closes, because there's lots of challenges along the way,
Yeah.
and it's part of the learning process. But what we found is that when we were able to switch to more of a partnership mentality, where everyone brings in their unique strengths, then we were actually closing on deals with people. So in that case, with other students in the group, we were focusing on bringing capital from our network
Yeah.
into the deals, and the other students had the deals, and the other students were putting in the sweat equity, and I was bringing in capital from my network, and that really fits with our goals and our philosophy. We see ourselves not so much as being people who will be active managing partners. We want to have time freed up to do some other things that we feel called to do. And so that was a really good fit. It was a good match.
Yeah, good. And you know what? And I know it worked really well for the other students because that was something they were struggling with, right? They were struggling with the ability to raise the capital for their deals. So marriage made in heaven, so they say, right?
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Well, and uh, I know that one of the things that kind of came about while you and I were working together is you started doing a course for helping people speak. Um, and I can't remember exactly how that came about. I know it's something that you do yourself, but do you remember how you ended up starting to offer that course?
Yeah, well, I'm a professional speaker, and I started to see the need for helping people to leverage the stage for their business or ministry or their whatever they're involved with.
Hmm.
And so I would say that I'm one of the few people in Canada that was able to make a full-time go of my passion for speaking and helping people through speaking. And so I felt like I had some unique things to offer. And in the world of real estate, I think it is really helpful for people to know how to present well. And so yeah, I launched that. So that was about 2 years ago, and we have a new session coming up this September 2019. And I'm happy to um, offer some kind of a nice discount for your listeners to that.
Okay.
And for people who are interested in presenting themselves well, getting their message out there, and learning how to sell from the stage, all those different things, the course has been really helpful. And I have some star students that have come through it as well.
Well, you know what? I was one of them. I came through it. I've always done a lot of speaking, but I've never really done any training on it. So I thought, hey, here's a professional speaker offering to train. I definitely can learn something. So I can highly recommend the course. It was very good. It was very informative. And it was nice to see the growth in the other students as well from the beginning until the end. I thought it was really, really cool. So really great service, I think, that you're offering there, Rob. Because, a lot of times what I find is that stuff that comes natural to us, we just think, well, it's easy for everybody, but it's not. Other people, it's a real struggle to be able to get their message out because, there's all kinds of doubts that kind of hold them back. So being able to offer a course like that, and with your own experience, because I believe when you started, one of the things I encouraged you to do was to talk to your audience about your real estate too, right? Like your audience is not real estate people, but everybody has money to deal with, right? Everybody is looking
Mhm.
for something somewhere to put their money that they can make good money. And so it's just, and not to say that you're going to stand on your other stage and talk about real estate a lot, but you can talk about what you're doing, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's interesting because you're for each different venue that we're in, there might be a slightly different purpose.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to know. It's good for people to know that there's trustworthy people that are involved in real estate because there's lots of we hear lots of the horror stories of people who aren't served well with in real estate investments or other investments. So I think what we're finding is that it really matters that there's people of character that are involved in that space that will really serve people well, and that puts people's minds at ease. I think who we are is really important,
I
and
agree.
so
It is.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
already providing a great message, and the people in your audience understand that. They see that passion, that caring inside of you
Mhm.
already. So you're a natural fit for them then, right?
Yeah, 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 and that's I think one of the big things that we've learned is that one of the most important parts of the equation in real estate investing is trust and trustworthiness, and so um, that's one of the things I think one of the strengths that we can bring to people. And some people will just reach out to us because they don't know of anyone else who's trustworthy in the space. So that's really helpful. That's rewarding for us.
They know you on a certain level, know, like, and trust you on a certain level. So to take it to another level, it's just one step. It's not like meeting a stranger and it's like four steps to get to that point, right? So yeah, that's
Mhm.
good. And I think speaking, I encourage more and more people to do videos all the time because I find that brings your personality forward. People can see, and I know just by doing, videos live all the time myself, I get a lot of people that think that they know me who I've never actually even met.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a space that I should be exploring further. But I do have that experience from the stage where people feel like they know you before you really know them, and that's great.
Yeah, it is. And I could see you being really good on Facebook and some of those places, sharing some of your knowledge, and not even just with real estate, but even the other things that you do, because not everybody can make it out to a live event all the time. Travel time, the time it takes. Just this morning I was talking to one of my partners and I said, well, let's set up a meeting. And he goes, in person or online? And I go, oh, online, only online. Like, he's in North Battleford,
Mhm.
I'm in Regina. I said, that's too many hours out of our day for a half hour
Mm.
meeting. So, let's just set up a Zoom call, and it happens just like this. And it's so much easier. It's like a face-to-face meeting, and it really opens the world to us. We can talk to investors in India or China, and they get a feel for who you are, and it doesn't have to be a face-to-face meeting.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I could definitely see you shining in that space, sharing your knowledge in so many different ways. Your speaker training, I'd like to even see you on Facebook where you're offering your speaker training more, because I don't think you've done any ads or anything like that, have you?
No, I've not. No, I've just kind of worked my own personal network for that, but that's brilliant. That's a good idea.
It's the next step for you, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, are you having any challenges with the buildings that you bought into? Are 100%, or do you have some challenges with them?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, definitely we are learning that there are challenges. So one of the buildings that we're part of it's a 24 unit building, and we anticipated that, well, our goal was to really mitigate risk. Our hope is to mitigate as much risk as possible for our investors off the hop. So as a newer building, we felt really confident that that was going to help us mitigate risk, and a number of other factors. And we did get rental income replacement insurance, and we're currently in the middle of a claim. So
Insurance,
um,
right? Yeah.
yeah, an insurance claim. So the challenge was that there was a pipe that broke, and there was some damage to two or three units, and then there was an issue with the company that was contracted to do the repairs ran into financial difficulty. So now the insurance provider is having to follow up with them, and it looks like we'll need a replacement company. So in the meantime, all of the income that was from those few units over the span of several months is really tied up, and that's it's a frustration point. I won't lie,
Yeah.
but I know that there is challenges with these kinds of deals, and we just have to say to our partners and our investors, that is coming. It is frustrating for everyone who's involved, but we have mitigated against the risk, and the check for that is coming. We
Yeah.
just don't know exactly when. Yeah.
Well, that's
So
the thing.
definitely that's probably the biggest challenge that we've faced recently.
Yeah. And we've dealt with that, Rob, and that's why I kind of wanted to mention it. We had on one of our buildings, we've had three different insurance claims. You can't make that stuff up. and you can't stop it. It's just one of those things. One of them, it was with us, a new Canadian was moving within the building from one unit to another, just left his balcony doors open, wanting to be nice and air out his unit, and froze a bunch of pipes. How do you know? You can't
Mhm.
do that. After he was so apologetic and so upset, that he did that, but it happens, right? Another one, we had a car run into our building, and I think again it was somebody who was a new driver, hit the brake instead of the gas, or the gas instead of the brake, or something. It just happens. But what we did, like you mentioned, you mitigate the risk because we've got rental offset insurance, so that covers it. But the thing is, you don't know when. You got to get all your work done in there, and then of course, if there's challenges outside of your control, dealing with an insurance company that that had difficulties, how do you know all that stuff up front, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want. That's why I wanted you to mention that. I know a lot of people like to highlight only the good stuff, but there's definitely challenges, even with brand new buildings, right? Which is, why I wanted to say with your
Mhm.
building, ours is a little bit older. And again, it wasn't the pipe's fault. It was the weather, which your guys's was weather related too, was it not? The pipe was,
Yeah, there was a pipe burst, and I'm not sure exactly what all the reason was for it.
it was middle of
Um,
winter. There was something there. I
yeah,
can't remember exactly
yeah,
what, but yeah. Okay. So with
yeah.
that said, does that stop you from going ahead and getting into other projects? Oh, did you hear me, Rob?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, so you've been through, so you've had some good success getting everything set up. You've also been through some challenges. Does that stop you from moving forward?
Well, that's an interesting question because I feel like we probably have been in a season where we are, yeah, some of the challenges I'd say have definitely caused us to pause and
Okay.
to reevaluate, to be honest.
Mhm.
I've been probably in the first year and a half of our real estate journey, I would say I was pedal to the metal and every day, every week, really focusing on it. And so, but we've been in a season where we've been on a little bit more of a pause, and we've been in a little bit of uh, on a little bit of sort of a mini sabbatical this summer, where we're just having rest from all of our extensive travel schedule.
Mhm.
But I'd say that I think that there's probably it's probably fair to say that there's an ebb and a flow to most things that we do. And now I can see heading into the fall, we've had some more interest from investors, and I'd say that internally, I definitely have more of fire starting to burn again. And I think um, so. I think that have the challenges stopped us? No, I think they caused us to pause, to reevaluate, to make sure that we're on the right track.
Mhm.
And I think we're kind of ready to go again, again this fall, and to put more time and effort into things. And so I think that's good. Like I think that, or my hope is at least, that we are serving our investors better by not just being full on and having a drive to just do deals just because we're doing deals. We want to make sure that the timing uh, is good and that deals are analyzed well, and we're not just forging forward because of in an unhealthy way. So I feel the entrepreneurial side of me is kind of questioning, well, why was the foot off the gas for a while? But I think in the end, it's going to be serving our investors really well.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to stop and reevaluate and check out things. I think you were telling me a little bit earlier that you had been working on another building in a small town, and it doesn't hurt to stop and check things out. We don't buy every month. Sometimes there's just nothing out there that we want to buy. We see, we're evaluating, we're analyzing, we're looking at stuff all the time. That doesn't mean that it's always like that you got to buy something. Even sometimes when you got investors saying, well, my money's been sitting there for a while. Are you sure you can't find something? Well, no, we can't. So it's better, I think it's better to sit on it for a little bit and get something that's really going to work than pop you into the first thing that comes along. So yeah, it's good. I'm glad you're thinking that way. It'll work out well for you. So Rob, if somebody wants to reach out to you and hear more about your investing opportunities or your speaking course, how do they find you?
Yeah, so our headquarters for real estate is LinkedIn, so they can reach out to me, Rob Parkman, on LinkedIn, and I'm always happy to have conversations with people about real estate and share what we've learned. So LinkedIn is a great spot. And I'll also give my email address. I'm at robparkman@live.ca. And again, love to talk to people. And if anyone's interested in the Speaking for Impact course, it is a 6-week course, and really helps people to go from an amateur to a pro level as speakers. And I'm happy to, if people want a discount on our fall course, we can do a 50% off deal for your listeners. If they just email me 50% off at robparkman@live.ca, we'll get them hooked up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Rob. And then the other thing I'd like to point out is I'd love to see you do a little Facebook Live about your upcoming course in the Facebook groups too, because a lot of times people are in there active and they don't even know what some of the other students have to offer. So it'd be really interesting to see you post that in there. This will go in there. It's a little bit long, sometimes just like a 1-2 minute snippet about it.
Sure, we'll do that.
Yeah, would be good to get some people in your class maybe.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on, Rob. So I much appreciated. The show will probably be out within the next week or two, and I'll share it with you. And then, of course, you can share it with anybody you want to as well. Thanks again.